Do you know when an English and an Italian go into a Chinese shop?
English, Italian, Chinese shop. Never heard this joke.
Okay, so what we have here is an English motorcycle, Brixton.
Yes.
And an Italian motorcycle, Malaguti.
Ah, and both of them are coming from China. This is the joke.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, this is not a joke.
Interesting, and we'll see if this is a joke or not.
So this is the Brixton Crossfire 125,
yeah.
And
that's the Malaguti Drakon.
Also 125.
Also.
Let's check them out.
All right.
So you mentioned that the engines are just the same, but and the power and everything else. What is it good enough? It's a 125 cubic centimeter water-cooled engine. It is meaning that we have to use the rev all the time, so pull the throttle. The engine itself is feeling well, I think, as I checked the RPM counters, between 6,000 and 9,000 RPM. So we have to pull it. Then we have pretty high exhaust sound on both of the bikes. Maybe the Brixton is a little bit louder, yeah. Not too much, but a little bit louder, and the acceleration and top speed and everything else is enough for the Hungarian roads. We were riding outside of the city as well, and as I checked, the top speed was somewhere around 110 kilometers per hour. So it was enough. Of course, when you have to move dynamically in the traffic, then we had to pull the throttle all the time. But what are the main differences? So what kind of customers are these two technically similar bikes are good for? First of all, the differences are from the design side, because the Brixton is much more, how would you say, much more looking much more dynamic.
Yeah, it needs a more sporty riding position.
Yes, and if we sit on the bikes, we are more or less the same tall guys. So when we sit on the bikes, first of all, the Brixton has a 6 centimeter higher seat, and the handlebar is much lower than on the Malaguti, and also the foot pegs are lifted higher on the Brixton than on the Malaguti. That's why the knee angle is much sharper. Of course, you have a little bit shorter leg than me, but anyhow, this is a much smaller underbody place, and as the handlebars are lower, you have to bend forward much more on the Crossfire than on the Drakon. How do you sit on the Drakon?
As you can see, the Drakon offers a much more upward riding position. The handlebar is relatively high, and you have a really comfortable and nice grip here. So when you're riding the Drakon, you can feel much more comfortable and, let's say, a little bit more confidence on it.
And also, but both of us felt that there you could, or we could keep our body position much better with the knees and the legs, because that has a good place, while here it is slipping much more the side of the fuel tank on the Brixton. The suspensions, you also said that they are the same technically, at least as far as we know, but the feeling is absolutely different.
Yes, of course. The Crossfire has much more tension on the suspensions, both in the front and the rear suspension, feeling much more harder, and on bumps and other stuff you can
mistakes, but we have Hungary a lot.
We have a lot, yes. And we can feel that the Drakon is because it has softer suspensions, is a little bit more comfortable.
Yes. And what else main difference did we feel? Also that I think that bike, the Malaguti, can carry less weight than the Brixton.
Exactly. The difference is about
it also must be some
50,
difference between
50 kilograms or so.
More. What do you think about passenger space?
Yeah. Let's find out.
Okay. Let's check out the basics of the two motorcycles. The small Brixton Crossfire is just the same line as the big brother, which we already made a review about some time ago, the Crossfire 500 was. So it's a typical cafe racer with very, very beautiful lines and everything else, while the Malaguti Drakon is a totally different world. It's much closer to an everyday commuting bike, as it is looking much more practical than the small Crossfire. And what is also important, that this Drakon is the first Malaguti motorbike which was already designed by the engineers of the KSR Group in Austria, and not coming from an absolutely original Chinese motorbike.
The brakes are working just as fine. We have a two-cylinder caliper in the front and a one-cylinder in the rear. And which is also have to be mentioned that both of the bike has an ABS system, which is a really great improvement, because normally the 125 cubic centimeter bikes has some kind of a combined brake system, but now we have a full ABS system which works perfectly fine. We use them quite a lot of times because, as we mentioned, the weather is quite cold, the roads are somewhere was a little bit slippy, so we have to check how the ABS works on both bikes, and they work perfectly well.
And this is really an important thing, that at least now the customers who can buy or able to buy a 125 cubic centimeter bike are in the same safetiness than those who buy bigger ones.
Exactly.
The small Brixton Crossfire has the same front lamp and dashboard than its big brother, the 500. The lamp is a pretty beautiful rounded unit with the proud Brixton text on the middle of it, and the daytime running, which we can change to normal light manually from the right handlebar like this. And our dashboard is, as I remember back, also the same as it was in the case of the 500 Crossfire 500. It's a round unit but full digital, and we have an RPM counter. As I already mentioned, we are going to check this area of it in most of the time, and we also have fuel amount, water temperature, and on the side of the dashboard we can change the overall distance to the daily counter, and that's all what we have. Stylish and absolutely fitting to this style of motorbike. The Malaguti Drakon's first lamp is also a full LED system. It has a, let's say, normal indicator that it is working at all, and when we start the engine, then the normal light is always starting. So here we do not have real daytime lighting system. And it's also worth to check the dashboard of the Drakon 125, which is a much more modern and much more, let's say, sportier unit than in the case of the Brixton. It is always saying that I am a Malaguti, showing the logo and everything else. And after that you get the dashboard, which is a real sporty unit. You can see your speed with the digital unit and also see it on the left side. And I have to start the engine for it again. The RPM is moving like this on the right side, like on a real race car. And we also have light checking in the dashboard, so when it is getting night, then it's turning to this kind of color scheme. And which is a real wonder, I show you one more thing, that when we move to the display unit and move to the manual switch, and here we can change between the day, which we already saw, the night, which we also already saw, and the Corsa red. And check out, when we come out from this, then you are going to get a dashboard with this color. So the technical basics are absolutely the same. The design and the riding enjoyment is pretty much different. What do you think? What kind of riders are going to buy the small Crossfire and the Drakon?
Okay, let's start with the Drakon. As we mentioned, it's a more common bike. It's usable for I think for beginners. So for those who just got their license, and for ladies as well, because it's light. The seat height,
easy to ride.
Low.
Yes, lower seat. Yes, it's very important. And a more comfortable bike. And what do you think about the Crossfire? Because of the different body position, because of the totally different design, the much, how should we say, younger, or just this cafe racer style?
Yeah, I think this is for bikers who maybe beginners, maybe not beginners, but already have an idea what kind of design and what kind of feeling they are searching in riding a motorbike.
Who are in love with this style.
Yeah,
only those riders.
Exactly. And they are able and willing to sacrifice some comfortable riding position for the design.
Yes, it's very, very important. If you liked our review and if you like these two pretty similar and absolutely different 125 cubic centimeter motorbikes, then please push a thumb up on it. In the description you can find a link where you can donate our work. And if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents as well. And thanks a lot for your kind attention. Bye bye.
Bye bye.